Most people, throughout their lives, find themselves in a relentless pursuit of money, viewing it as a distant prize to be claimed at the end of a long, winding road. However, there's a little-known secret that often goes unspoken. True wealth isn't merely a figure in your bank account, it's a mindset, a discipline, and above all, a philosophy about life itself. While a staggering 97% of individuals remain trapped in a cycle of scarcity and struggle, only 3% have unlocked a profound truth. Financial freedom is not determined by how much money you make, but rather by how you think, act, and grow every single day. The key difference between the 3% and the rest of the population isn't luck, extensive education, or social connections. It's a unique perspective on life, a nuanced understanding of self-worth, inner power, and the unseen forces that shape one's financial destiny. Today, I invite you to delve deeper, beyond surface-level strategies to merely make money. I want to guide you in cultivating a wealthy mindset that can transform your actions and ultimately change your financial results forever. Poverty often originates in the mind, long before it manifests in your bank account. Conversely, wealth begins the moment you choose to step off the conventional path and rewrite the narrative you've been perpetuating about money. Are you ready to uncover why the majority remain financially constrained, while only a select few break free? If so, listen closely, because this may well be the most important discussion you'll ever have. Let me impart a fundamental yet powerful piece of advice. If you truly wish to build real wealth, not just accumulate bigger bills or flaunt a fancier lifestyle, you must prioritize paying yourself first. This is the elemental law of wealth building. Before dispersing payments to your landlord, settling debts, or covering utility bills, you must honor your future self. I understand that some may protest, saying, "But I don't earn enough." Here's the truth. It's not about how much you earn, it's about how much you retain, and, more importantly, how you allocate what you retain. Wealth doesn't respond to your income, it responds to your financial discipline. For instance, imagine you receive a paycheck of $500 for the week. Many look at that figure and immediately start subtracting their essential expenses: rent, groceries, gas, and weekend plans, with the hope of saving next month. However, the wealthy approach this differently. They prioritize saving for their future first. They take a portion, often 10% to 15%, and set it aside for savings, investments, or perhaps a bit of gold. Only after they've secured their future do they allocate the remainder to their living expenses. I learned this invaluable lesson during a challenging period in my life, when all I had was a handful of dollars, but too many bills to manage. My mentor advised me, don't wait for circumstances to improve. Start with what you have, and you will attract more. I took that advice to heart and committed to setting aside just $1 from every $10. Though it seemed negligible, that simple habit instilled a sense of ownership in my financial life. I transitioned from being a servant to my money to becoming its rightful master. You must dictate where your money goes instead of wondering where it vanished. Paying yourself first isn't an act of selfishness. It's a responsible practice. It's not about hoarding cash. It's about nurturing it. Each dollar saved or invested becomes a valuable asset working for you. The question then becomes, are you directing those funds to bring returns, or are you squandering them on fleeting pleasures, only to wonder why your situation remains unchanged? Here's what I share with anyone eager to escape the confines of that 97%. The moment you conclude that your future is worth more than that extra cup of coffee or the latest gadget, you step into the realm of the 3%. You don't do this by merely earning more. Rather, you do so by adopting better financial habits. A stark reality persists that many don't wish to address. Most individuals spend money based on emotions. They buy what feels good at the moment: a luxurious coffee, the latest tech gadget, or a night out with friends. These purchases deliver temporary relief, a quick fix against stress or boredom. However, that relief is fleeting, and once the money is spent, so too is the comfort it provided. This pattern ensnares many in a cycle of constantly pursuing the next temporary high, with funds that could have been channeled into building something substantial. The 97% often live paycheck to paycheck because their spending is dictated by emotions rather than foresight. In stark contrast, the 3% don't merely spend, they invest. Investing isn't synonymous with navigating the stock market or becoming embroiled in complex financial jargon. It's about intentionality. It's about recognizing every dollar as a soldier marching toward a greater goal, be it retirement, education, or financial independence. It's about buying freedom rather than seeking mere relief. This shift in perspective is what distinguishes the financially struggling from the affluent. When someone in the 3% orders a coffee, it's not because they lack the desire, but because they've already asked themselves, will this purchase bring me closer to my financial goals or take me farther away? That simple yet powerful question can reshape your relationship with money. Early in my career, when my financial situation was precarious, I constantly faced the temptation to indulge in instant gratification. However, I observed individuals around me who, despite not earning substantially more, possessed a different financial mindset. They paused before every purchase, asking themselves if the expenditure would serve their future self or merely placate an emotional impulse. Remarkably, that modest shift in thinking paid off. They built savings, grew investments, and created opportunities I had yet to discover. Intentional spending reflects your priorities and takes control of your financial destiny. It's about discipline, foresight, and a clear vision of the future. The 3% recognize that wealth is cultivated, not merely inherited through income. It's determined by how each dollar is utilized. Every dollar you spend either constructs your independence or enriches someone else's life. If your aim is to join the 3%, begin today by altering your thoughts surrounding money. Don't spend frivolously just because the urge strikes. Instead, spend with clear intentions, having predetermined where your money should loyally go. The moment you choose to do so, you'll start crafting a legacy rather than merely living a lifestyle, thereby distinguishing yourself from the financially constrained. One of the crucial reasons individuals remain broke isn't because they earn too little, but because they lack awareness of where their money goes. It slips away unnoticed and unchecked, leaving many in the 97% living in financial obscurity. They guess, they hope, and they cross their fingers. Yet, wealth isn't built on guesswork. It's founded on unwavering clarity. I've encountered countless individuals frustrated with their financial standings, yet they refuse to track a single cent. They utter phrases like, "I don't want to obsess over money," or "I'll just figure it out as I go." The undeniable truth is this: You cannot manage what you fail to measure. Trying to navigate your financial journey without tracking is akin to steering a ship without a compass. You might believe you're on the right course, but without a clear direction, you're merely adrift. The 3% have a precise understanding of where every dollar goes, not because they wish to micromanage, but due to the empowering clarity that financial oversight provides. It enables them to identify unnecessary expenditures and areas ripe for savings or investment. Tracking isn't about stifling your financial experience. It's about empowering yourself to make informed decisions. Initially, when I began to manage my finances, I used a straightforward method, a financial journal. Each week, I recorded what I earned, spent, saved, and invested. At times, it was uncomfortable, revealing habits that weren't serving my financial health. Money spent on things I didn't even remember purchasing. However, this transparent approach helped me recalibrate my habits. Remember this principle: what gets tracked gets transformed. Once you start documenting your financial transactions, you naturally begin to make more informed and beneficial decisions. Patterns will emerge, such as overspending on dining out or impulsive online purchases. Awareness alone fuels the desire to improve. With clear figures at your disposal, you can set achievable goals and maintain accountability. Don't wait until you feel prepared or until you have an ample income. Begin today with what little you have, whether it's a notebook, a spreadsheet, or a budgeting app. Choose what suits you best. Consistency is the cornerstone. Track your finances weekly, review them honestly, and make adjustments as necessary. Over time, this habit will establish a solid financial foundation. To transition from the 97% to the 3%, you must cultivate ruthless clarity about where your money goes. Every dollar you spend should be a purposeful decision that reflects your future aspirations. This is the cornerstone of genuine financial freedom. A prevalent misconception exists that merely working harder or longer hours will inevitably lead to greater wealth. Many individuals in the 97% fall victim to this notion, believing that sheer effort is the pathway to financial success. However, the reality is far different. Effort alone often results in a slow, arduous route toward success. What truly propels you forward is enhancing your value, not simply increasing your efforts. In the early stages of my career, I fell into the trap of clocking long hours, convinced that my time commitment would translate into financial gains. But I soon discovered an essential truth. People don't pay for hours worked. They pay for value delivered. Spending 10 hours on a task anyone could perform differs greatly from dedicating those 10 hours to delivering something unique that others desire, something they cannot obtain anywhere else. The financially savvy understand this principle deeply. They invest in enhancing their skill set, developing abilities that attract higher returns. It encompasses honing your communication skills to inspire others, learning effective leadership to guide teams toward shared objectives, mastering sales techniques to create opportunities, and gaining financial literacy so your money works for you. These skills are akin to compound interest. They accumulate and grow in value over time. Instead of chasing after more hours to earn money, focus on becoming increasingly valuable. This means committing to continuous learning, challenging yourself beyond your comfort zone, and embracing opportunities for personal growth. By developing these skills, you won't just increase your income. You will open doors to opportunities that would otherwise remain closed. Remember, money flows to value. If you can tackle larger problems or generate greater impact, financial rewards will follow naturally. So rather than fixating on the number of hours worked, ask yourself, what skill can I develop today that will make me indispensable tomorrow? What unique value can I create that others may overlook? By shifting your mindset from sheer effort to producing value, you align yourself with the financial thinking of the 3%, and that's when the abundance truly begins to flourish. Achieving lasting wealth rarely hinges on a monumental shift or a grand show of willpower. Rather, it's about executing ordinary disciplines exceptionally well and consistently over time. The divide between the 97% who struggle and the 3% who successfully build wealth often stems from systems, simple, automatic processes that keep money working for you, even when your motivation may wane. I've observed numerous individuals embark on their wealth-building journeys with lofty intentions to save or invest. But as life unfolds, bills accumulate, distractions emerge, and that initial resolve can quickly dissipate. The 3% understand this reality. They don't entrust their financial futures to chance or the mere hope of self-discipline. Instead, they construct systems that eliminate guesswork and reduce the need for constant decision-making. One of the most effective tools available is automation. By establishing automatic transfers, a portion of your income can be directed straight into savings or investment accounts before you even see it. This way, you pay yourself first, without subsequent reminders each month. Think of it as planting seeds in a garden. You don't ponder each seed's placement. You simply nurture and care for them consistently over time. Utilizing budgeting apps or spreadsheets for financial tracking enhances your control and clarity. These tools enable you to monitor your expenditures, identify areas where you can trim unnecessary expenses, and assess how much your wealth is growing. The 3% leverage these insights for informed decision-making rather than succumbing to emotional impulses. Another effective strategy is the practice of dollar-cost averaging, consistently investing in assets regardless of market conditions. This approach alleviates the anxiety of timing the market and transforms investing from a risky gamble into a habitual practice. Over the years, these modest, regular contributions can compound and expand beyond what emotional and sporadic decisions might ever achieve. I recall establishing automatic investments during my early career when my earnings were modest. However, through automation, I instilled a regimen of discipline and consistency. Years later, those small automatic contributions culminated into a significant nest egg, all because I chose to leverage systems to my advantage. Relying solely on willpower is a precarious strategy. It's unpredictable and drains your energy. In contrast, systems work diligently behind the scenes, silently building momentum until success becomes an inevitable outcome. Therefore, don't wait for the spark of motivation or the onset of willpower. Build systems that work in your favor. Automate your savings, your investments, and your financial tracking. This is how the 3% amass their wealth, not through luck, but by thoughtful design. Wealth doesn't materialize overnight, nor is it simply the result of a singular grand gesture. It's crafted through those unassuming yet consistent moments, the micro decisions we make day after day. The 3% understand this deeply. They transform straightforward financial disciplines into daily rituals that shape their destiny. They recognize that success isn't rooted in luck or serendipitous windfalls, but rather in steady, deliberate actions that are repeated consistently. Consider how frequently we dismiss seemingly trivial habits because they appear insignificant. Yet it's those small, nearly invisible choices that lay the groundwork for genuine financial freedom. For example, reading just 10 pages of a financial book each day isn't about gaining expertise overnight. It's about fostering a mindset geared toward growth and understanding. Knowledge compounds much like money, and every page read brings you closer to mastery. Reviewing your financial goals each morning might seem trivial, but it sets the tone for your entire day. It grounds you in your purpose, keeping your focus sharp while daily distractions vie for your attention. Investing a small amount each payday, irrespective of the sum, reinforces the principle of paying yourself first, ensuring your money consistently works for you. Over time, these investments grow exponentially, boosted by the power of compound interest. Remember, it's not the size of initial investments that matters, but rather the habit of regular investing. Cutting back even one unnecessary expense per week may appear minor, but it fosters a mindset of conscious spending and prioritization. The 3% routinely assess their spending habits and carefully redirect funds from temporary gratifications toward long-term financial growth. In my own life, I can attest to the significant impact that attention to daily financial rituals can have. I wasn't wealthy when I began this journey, but I committed myself to learning, regularly reviewing my goals, consistently investing, and reducing extraneous expenses. Those small, seemingly inconsequential steps laid the foundation for profound changes in my financial landscape. If you aspire to build wealth, don't anchor your hopes on the search for a perfect moment or immense resources. Focus instead on what you can control, your daily habits. These straightforward disciplines, practiced consistently, transform into financial rituals that serve as the cornerstone of your success. Wealth is not an isolated event. It's an ongoing process defined by your daily actions. Financial independence isn't just a catchy phrase. It signifies your capacity to live comfortably from the income generated by your own efforts and resources. Relying solely on one paycheck is akin to balancing precariously on one leg during a storm. It's unstable and risky. The 3% understand this reality all too well, carefully constructing their financial foundations on multiple pillars. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with more motivational content. Like, share, and comment to support our work and spread the message.